Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, and we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPREPARES.com. And converging threats are confronted daily by your instructors. Shayne is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. And if you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Hour number one, Steve Angle is going to be with us from Hays, Kansas, and we're going to talk about, well, he's the guy that says, we're all the Christians. And my understanding of what he means by that is we're all the good people. Where'd they go? So when you look across the street and there's someone being harassed or the cops are picking on somebody, why does everybody stay across the street? Why don't you go see what's going on? Why don't you go help the person who's being beaten up and accosted by the cops? Maybe he's your neighbor. He might even be one of your family members. Why don't you go find out what's going on and make sure that you protect we the villagers? That's hour number one. Hour number two, Sam Bushman. Sam Bushman's going to join us. And he's a USA Prepares instructor, and he had an interesting situation. He's going to tell a story about how he got thrown out of the mayor's office. Yeah, that's hour number two. Steve Angle's with us. Steve Angle, you were beaten up in your own home by the Hays City, Kansas cops. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Steve. Hey, Steve, you've been to the farm. We've traveled together. We've gone to events together, and it's great to have you on the broadcast. It's it's a really sad commentary that you answered your doorbell and the cops were there, and they put a gun in your face, and they told you to drop your gun, and you had it held by the muzzle with your left hand. The cops put the gun in your face and told you to drop your gun. You stood there, and they beat you up, and you spent next 3 days in jail, and you ended up in the hospital, and they really did a lot of damage, didn't they?
In fact, they did, and more damage than I realized, because I ended up spending Christmas in the hospital due to a heart fibrillation that I didn't have before, but I developed evidently by being thrown out on my concrete porch, and then the thrust was so much, if you can imagine someone pulling you forward, and with such force that you hit the concrete and then bounce onto the sidewalk, which one officer stated, well, he ended up on the sidewalk, and I don't really know how he ended up there. Well, I think he was about as surprised at what this other officer did as anyone, but he's going along with the story so far.
Well, Steve, there's a story. Let's see. There was a man who had a license plate missing, I believe, on the front of his vehicle.
Yes.
And there was a cop who pulled him over and shot him in the head. Just executed him. And there are two other cops there witnessing this. And they said, well, he's in fear of his life, and this guy dragged the cop, and they all saw the same thing. Except the body camera didn't see any of that. What I'm saying is, these guys are lying. These cops lie with impunity. And if they get away with this, with these lies, they're probably going to, well, some of them may get away with murder.
Well, they have, you can bet, considering the incidents. I mean, we just had this Sandra Bland incident on the 17th. I've got articles in front of me. This started with a turn signal. With a turn signal. Regardless of what people want to imagine or whatever, we do know this started with a stop over a turn signal, and she ends up dead in a jail cell. Regardless, she's dead. This started with a turn signal. This situation you're talking about, the University of Cincinnati, Ohio, this officer stopped this guy for no front plate. What I find very interesting is the Hamilton County prosecutor, Joe Dieters, in a press conference reviewing this. He played the body camera footage, and he said, I've been doing this for over 30 years. This is the most asinine act I've ever seen a police officer make. Totally unwarranted. It's an absolute tragedy in the year of 2015 that anyone would behave in this manner. It was senseless. The prosecutor said he was shocked when he first saw the video and was adamant DuBose did not act aggressive towards the officer. People want to believe that Mr. DuBose had done something violent towards the officer. He did not. He did not at all. I feel so sorry for the family and what they lost. I feel sorry for the community, too. The reporter asked Dieters whether he thought Tenzing tried to mislead investigators, meaning Tenzing, the Officer Tenzing, to mislead investigators looking into the incidents. He said, yes. I think he was making an excuse for the purpose of killing of DuBose. I saw him last night, again, the update on this on one of the ABC or CBS News, where the officer was put, on $1 million bond, which he, immediately evidently bonded out. I had a lot of problems coming up with a $20,000 bond on my deal. I was in 3 days trying to do it. And, evidently they didn't want him in jail with the other bad people. But, like you're talking about, and the other two officers, with his camera, he said, I thought he was going to run over me. He was looking at his pants, how his pants were kind of scuffed up, and the other officers started chiming in, yeah, I saw it. Well, it's one thing to lie. It's another thing. I think it may be even worse than that, Vincent, that these people kind of imagine what they want to, and what they imagine they think is real. And so that's what they say, that all these people thought this was okay to do this. And of course, people think, well, I'll give you an example. You want me to talk about society? Back on this incident in South Carolina, the police officer that shot the fella running 5 times in the back. And he's got a guy is filming him. And, the officer starts telling the dispatcher, well, I was gonna say he took my taser, so I was in fear of my life. Well, the video doesn't show that he took his taser. In fact, the officer went back, picked up the taser, walked over to the body and dropped it. And this kind of premeditation, and this officer looked right at the guy that's filming the thing, and it didn't even bother him. I think this has all gotten so bad that, and they're somehow trained to think, don't worry about it. You just say, and here's the magic word that's going on. And there's magic words that come about at different times, and the magic word of this is, I was in fear of my life. I was in fear of bodily harm. Whether it's a dog, a person, a 12-year-old child, whatever else, all they got to do is say that, and oh yeah, okay, you're good to go. Of course, police officers don't lie. We know that. Remember Mark Furman, O.J. Simpson?
Sure.
Have you ever used the N-word? Just in case people need reminding. Have you ever in your life used the N-word? Did you ever call anyone a N? Yeah. So, folks, I think with this incident now in Cincinnati especially, what encourages me is this prosecutor that is so outraged with this. As they arraigned him and set his bond, they asked this prosecutor on this Cincinnati, Ohio university shooting what the prosecutor thought about it, and he said, and I mean, he was just cold, staring into the camera and said, he's a murderer. Now, that's what I'd rather see as for protecting the citizen, and that's what the prosecutors are supposed to do, is evaluate a situation for the citizens and say, what went on here? Does this need to be prosecuted? Or who needs to be prosecuted? And this is the first time I've seen any of these incidences done where someone says this is ridiculous. And as I've talked before, 35 or 40 years ago, and this caught me by surprise, 35 or 40 years ago, what I thought about is we had real men doing these jobs 35 or 40 years ago. You didn't just draw your gun and shoot at people. There was a shooting down in Wichita where a officer shot at a vehicle. You don't know who else is in there. That was what was said years ago. You don't know if their wife's in there, some hostage, some child. You don't know. Why shoot at the vehicle indiscriminately? But that's
Steve,
what they're doing now.
You're absolutely right. And Dr. Howard, Shayne, and I and our wives, we were in two separate vehicles, and there was a car crash right next to us. And a man ran into a concrete piling in the middle of the road where a light pole was set. And it was dark and just gotten dark, and this man didn't see it, and he was unconscious. His car was on fire, and Howard, Shayne, and I were the first on the scene. We were right there at the stoplight when this guy crashed right next to us. And so we ran out to see if we could be of assistance. And what happened was his airbag deployed, his dashboard was on fire, and the car was full of smoke. And I took the jack out of my old Mercedes that I was driving in 1983, and this wasn't all that. This was just a couple of years ago. So I was driving this antique car, and I got the jack out, and I was trying to bash the window, and I couldn't break any of the windows. Well, I had the opportunity. I had my 45 on my side, and I could have just shot out one of the windows, but I didn't. I didn't because I couldn't see in the car. I didn't know what I would be hitting, so I did not do that. So what you're saying is absolutely right. These guys are reckless. There's the story of the cops standing on the hood, shooting in and executing two people in the front seat multiple times. Bam, 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 bam. Right? This is what's going on.
Oh, but Vincent, he was in fear of his life after the car was shot 130.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. If you can defend your food supply from predators, you may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
If you're worried about your health and you're tired of the nasty side effects of harsh drugs or antibiotics, then look no further. Supernatural Silver is the answer. Supernatural Silver is a powerful immune system enhancer that can be used every day to help keep you healthy and well with none of those nasty side effects. It's extremely safe for use internally as well as topically. And Supernatural Silver is hundreds of times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. It is perfect for use in the sinuses, eyes, ears, and on any wound or skin issue. Supernatural Silver is also extremely effective when taken orally and can help fight off bacteria, viruses, and mold that may be overwhelming your immune system. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, supernaturalsilver.com, and use the promo code SILVER2015 for 30% off of your entire order. And give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Class Steve Angle's with us. And we're talking about the cops. Cops are out of control, in my opinion. And, you know, Steve, I have heard so some of our friends, some of yours and some of mine have said things to us, and we've talked about this off the air. Hey, 95% of the cops are good. My response is, can you show me one? How do you react to that?
Well, like I said, usually I was caught off guard with this because I just, was thinking 35 or 40 years ago, unfortunately, and as this different thing, well, not my incident, but other incidents, and then my incident happened, other people's incidents, and I said, this requires a little investigation, and with the internet, it's pretty easy. If anyone is interested, they can sure find it. And without, I'm not going to make some kind of accusation or decision without having having enough knowledge to say, yeah, this is what I believe is going on and something needs to be done about it. And people want to complain about the mainstream media or whatever like this, yet they still watch it. And they still see things on it, and they still take in things on it. And yes, there's a lot of propaganda involved. When you ask me, gee, Steve, I'd like to have you come on and say, just kind of give your views on society. And, I kind of gulped and said, well, how long's the show? And you said, well, an hour, but less with commercials. So, okay. I'll just but think about some stories and my personal experiences and years of studying history and economics and having done so many things like you, Vincent. Every once in a while a new story comes out of an experience you've had. And a lot of people, they don't have stories. They don't have these experiences. They haven't done, they haven't participated. I grew up during the time you did too, where you participated in things and to do things, and now participation is getting on Facebook and saying, hey, look what I did. Well, that's not what I call participation. And, yet the society is forcing a lot of people into participation, like getting arrested and getting shot. And this is pretty serious. Just like an example, I'll just give you an example of this South Carolina shooting, which was bad. I mean, they charged this this policeman was shooting this guy 5 times in the back and murdering him, and that trial's still to come. But I just happened to be invited by some friends to go to a gun and military show when I was down in Wichita visiting my mother, and I wouldn't have gone except for these guys were there, and they're from out of town, and they travel around to these shows, and they said, well, we'd like to see you. Why don't you come by? And I said, okay. So I figured it'd give me another opportunity to just kind of do a, unscientific kind of poll as I talked to these vendors. And the first guy I talked to, he was selling holsters or something. And I said, start talking about the police, kind of got him into that. And I said, well, what about this police officer charged with murder in the South Carolina shooting? And he says, his response was, I don't believe it happened. And I knew we were in trouble, Vincent. I didn't know we were in this much trouble. I mean,
he didn't believe that the shooting happened?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, Steve, just because someone goes to a gun show as an exhibitor doesn't mean that their head's screwed on right. I can tell you that one of the very, very few people as an exhibitor I threw out of our expo, the Get Prepared Expo, was a guy selling guns. Literally. I threw him out. I threw him out right during the expo. Right? He refused to put zip ties on the actions of some rifles. And I went up to him and I said, hey, just want to let you know I saved your butt. The cops were here, and you're out of here. We told you 3 times to zip tie these guns. You haven't done it yet. Get out. And so not everybody that goes to a gun show is, the caliber of that we'd like. They're just not. They're not paying attention. And they watch mainstream media. Some of them watch mainstream media. Not everybody listens to alternative media. Steve Angle and I will be right back.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
Affordable health insurance was the promise of Obamacare, but for many, the government mandate caused more problems than it solved. And I want to tell you about a truly affordable alternative, Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare bypasses doctor and hospital panels, giving you the freedom to choose 100% coverage up to $1 million per year per occurrence, who includes dental, vision, pharmacy, and holistic care. Call 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993 today.
Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day, and the home security industry wants you to believe that's your only option. They've got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts. You get stuck writing huge checks month after month with no way out. It's robbery by contract, and it can cost you thousands. But there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts. None. You'll get award-winning 24/7 protection. Security professionals watching over your home, ready to instantly send police to the rescue for just $14.99 per month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Protect your home the smart way. Visit simplysafedefense.com today for an exclusive 10% offer and get a free keychain remote worth $25. Only when you go to simplysafedefense.com. simplysafedefense.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years. Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendivite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth, slide into a recession, or at worst, depression? Hi, Ted Anderson from Midas Resources. We all know when a company acts irresponsibly, divesting ourselves in a move towards safety is prudent. When the market becomes volatile, U.S. Treasuries are a safe haven. But what do you do when the U.S. government overextends itself and spends beyond its means? Many investors are turning toward gold as a common-sense alternative to traditional paper investments. Midas Resources has put together a powerful book titled 10 Reasons to Own Gold, discussing costs, benefits, risks, featuring full-color illustrations, weights, and measures. The book is free and can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. Paper investments are dwarfed by gold's 6,000-year history. Discover how gold may be right for you and your IRA by calling 800-686-2237. Whether buying or it's time for you to sell, the book is free. Call 800-686-2237.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Wow. There's a there's a huge headline on the Drudge Report. Shock. Cell phones can cause cancer. So there it is. We've been saying it, well, since the 1990s that electromagnetic radiation can cause cancer. We were concerned about it. We didn't want to get involved with it in terms of deploying wireless technology in the school systems. I wouldn't do it as a consultant. Front page, big article, headlines, cell phones can cause cancer. There it is. So class, and then in the article there's a picture of an iPhone. Well, you know what I did with my iPhone. I dumped it. And I suggest that you do it too. They're tracking you. They're watching your every move. And you know, you literally can go from point A to point B without a cell phone. Yes, you can. I've done it. I've proven it. I've driven all the way a couple miles to the cooperative, the farmers cooperative, all the way a couple miles from the farm to the farmers cooperative and back. And I made it. And you can drive even farther than that. You might even be able to go to the store without your cell phone. Imagine how nice it will be going to the supermarket and not being run over by some jerk who's got his phone in his ear and he's not paying attention to what he's doing and runs you over with his cart. Steve Engel's with us, and we're talking about how society is falling down. Falling down. We're not paying attention. We're not nice to each other. And Steve, I've got a comment. I was singled out. There were 3 cars coming down a hill. I was going up a hill. It was dark. It was drizzly. It was foggy. And I got a ticket for excessive speeding going up this hill in really bad visibility conditions. It wasn't me. It was one of these guys coming down the hill, and there was a cop parked on private property sniping. And he decided, well, I had out-of-state tags because I was driving a car that our daughter had returned to us after years of being in Virginia. So he picks me out, gives me a ticket, and I said, hey, no problem. I'll see you in court. You got the wrong guy, and I'm going to be talking about you from now until the disposition of the ticket locally on a big radio station in Springfield, Missouri. You know, my ticket has not appeared. What I'm saying is these guys just push and push and push until they can't get away with it, and they back off. They back off when they don't think they can get away with it. So they're going to go find some easier target. I believe that's the case. Steve, what do you think?
Well, in fact, when you asked me to, give kind of some of my thinking on society, I jotted down bullies and cowards. Have you ever been bullied? That's the word I wrote.
I've got it right here. Bullies. Yeah.
You ever been bullied, Vincent?
We all have. And it's this big kid in elementary school who pushed everybody around. And those are the guys who I believe have become cops today, except they're not just on the playground anymore. They've got guns and tasers and body armor and handcuffs. Well, a couple sets of handcuffs and tie wraps in case they don't have enough handcuffs. And they've got pepper spray and mace.
Right. Well,
extra taser cartridges.
Of course. I mean, I've been bullied when I think back. It might have been in second grade or fifth grade or high school or whatever. But I'll just tell you a quick story, which I had forgotten this until Lars Larson on his show reminded me. There was a gal on talking about bullies and bullying, which is kind of it's been in the news the last few years and stuff like this. And I happened to be standing in a medical office. I'd taken my mom to get some medical checkup here about 3 or 4 years ago. And here I am in a room full of maybe 20 people waiting. And I got my little styrofoam cup of coffee, and I just happened to be standing there. And I overheard a young man, probably in his 30s, just he was talking loud enough. I heard him say, well, I guess I'll have to go to the school and talk to them about it. Well, I kind of perked my interest. And I'm an old guy. I'm 60. Well, I've been 60-some years old then. I'm 64 now. So I'm just kind of, the old guy. And he stopped. He was talking to a couple of women there. One of them might have been his wife. I don't know. But I just spoke up and said, what's going on? And he looked at me because, a lot of people, most people don't spend enough time, I think, talking to other people about things. And I said, what's going on? And he said, well, I've got a 12-year-old son, and we got he's being bullied or whatever. And he said, I guess I got to go to the school and try to get something done about this. And I looked at him and I said, right in his eyes, and I said, let me tell you something. You better teach him to take care of this because there's always going to be a bully. And I was in a sense kind of shocked. I'd said this to a stranger or whatever, but I meant it. And the thing that got me was his physical change. He almost put on a smile. He sat up straight because he heard, maybe from the first time, from another man, what he knew he needed to do. Not run to the school or whatever. He needed to teach his son how to do this because, Vincent, whether you're 12 years old, and at the moment I said this, what flashed through my mind was a good friend of mine who was 73 years old, and he was being bullied by a state oil office over his license, his oil operator's license. They took $250. They didn't give him the license. They kept his $250. Didn't give him the license, and he still hadn't got his $250. So my point was, and your point was, and you're talking about today, you're a little bit younger than I am, not much, but there's always going to be a bully, isn't there? And people are not learning how to take care of this. They're farming this out to somebody else. I'll give it to the school. What does the school do? They call the cops. They put your child in handcuffs. They call a psychiatrist and say, what's going on at home? This, that, whatever else. Again, any interaction with those people is trouble and problems and most likely will ruin your life.
Steve, you met a couple of our boys, and when they were younger, we realized that there were going to be bullies just like when I was in school. And so all of our children spent time learning Okinawan Shoin-ryu, and they competed in fighting on fight night once a week at the dojo, and they competed in the state championship, the regional championship, and also the national championships. All of our children did. And one of our children took third place in fighting at the Disney Wide World of Sports National Championship. And because he worked at it, he wanted to go to high school. And so for the first time in his life, he'd been to, a school. He started out as a freshman, and he was picked on. We moved to Missouri from Virginia, and he was picked on mercilessly. I mean, the farm boys just picked on him and picked on him and picked on him. And he'd come home from school, and I'd say, "Hey, how'd it go?" He'd put his head down, and he didn't want to say that he was being picked on. So finally he told me that, these farm boys were just shoving him around, and they had him in the bathroom, and he said, it's okay. It's all right. As long as there's, just like 4 of you, it's okay. And they thought he was kidding. And so I did what all parents consider doing. I called for a meeting with the principal and the superintendent. I went to school with Mrs. Finelli, and I met with the principal and the superintendent, separately, same time, same day. And I said, I just want you to let you know, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining that our son's being picked on. And I'm not saying that you should do anything about it. I'm just telling you that pretty soon he's going to lose his temper because it's been going on for 3 months. And one of your other students is going to get hurt. I just want to let you know it's coming. That's all. And if you throw him out of school, that's okay. That's okay. He's been homeschooled before. It's not a big deal. And they asked me about grades. How do you feel about grades? I said, I don't care about grades. But I'll tell you what, if he doesn't learn anything, I care about that. But I don't care about grades. They've never met anyone who said that to them. Well, a few weeks later, our son got in-school suspension because the biggest kid in the school picked on him, sucker punched him. And our son took him out with one punch, boom, it was over. And now everybody's like shocked because this kid that would be pushed around finally lost his temper and struck back. And it was over. And then I said to our son, we got to get you out of there. You're getting dumber by the minute. I'm not by the second. We got to get you out of there. So we got him out of that school. And then all these guys that were pushing him around for months said, hey man, we really like you. Why do you have to go? It's like, are you kidding? So yeah, Steve, you're absolutely right. You can stop these bullies. And you just have to hurt them. You don't have to go looking for them to hurt them. But when you're being picked on and you want to respond, that's when you do it. Boom, and it's over.
Well, you mentioned that, Vincent, and what I've found and I experienced, now I can't up your son's story for 4 guys in the restroom. My incident only had 3. But what people forget, there's a lot of hard surfaces in there, and it's a small little area. Mm-hmm. So, and I walked out in front of all of them. So it's a thing where this is what children need to be trained to do to take care of themselves. And what I've never heard anybody in any talk shows or anything like that explain is parents are supposed to be training their children how to be parents, Vincent. And years ago, children are expected to be, if we didn't act mature or grown up, we didn't get to go, and we ended up going a lot of places. But we just knew it, and we enjoyed going places, and we weren't going to act up. And we're talking about 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. Now, the attitude is, gee, I'm in my 30s. I'm going to have to start acting like an adult.
Right. And for these children who are 30 and below, they need to realize that they have responsibilities, and they can't behave like children. Steve Angle and I'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress, Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
Hi, my name is Scott Fuchs, teacher and rowing coach for over 14 years. I was sluggish, overweight, on prescription drugs, and only 30-something. Fortunately, I was referred to Dr. Z, and happy to say Dr. Z's all-natural protocols over a consistent course resolved my health issues. I'm in the best shape of my life, and most importantly, on 0 medications.
I'm Dr. Zdanowski, author of Evology, trained as a primary care physician, surgical manipulation under anesthesia, expert in nutrition, diet, weight loss, immune system, and I specialize in chiropractic. My 15 years of professional experience has taught me the 4 keys to vibrant health: a balanced musculoskeletal system, an integrated nervous system, a flowing lymphatic system, and a body filled with over 90 essential nutrients. This has been a secret too long. Actualize your potential, reverse disease. Call me, Dr. Z. 201-945-1177, 201-945-1177, evolyourself.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Steve Angle's with us, and for those of you just joining the class, the broadcast classroom, Steve answered the door the doorbell at around 12:30 at night, and it was the cops, and there were a couple of them there, and he answered the door. He had his .45 in his left hand, holding it by the muzzle up. Opens the door with his right hand. Cop sticks a gun in his face. Tells him to drop the gun. Steve, I believe, if I'm clear on this, he thought if you moved, you'd get shot, and if you thought you stayed there, you'd get shot no matter what. It was going to be a bad situation, right?
Well, I believe, there's enough videos that have proven that. It was done over with, I had no knowledge of this, but they came with a report that had been in several 911 calls made, just hang-up calls, no voice, anything like that. Here it was the middle of the night, after midnight, and, so I look out. It appears to be some kind of policeman. I couldn't have told you prior to this what uniform Hayes Police had, but okay, it doesn't appear like a threat, so I open the door, at which point they're 5 foot back on my porch. My porch is 5 foot wide, and they asked if we'd made some 911 calls. I said no, and then they said, well, is everything okay? And I said, yeah. In fact, I added, it was typical me, I guess, until I've got police on my doorstep in the middle of the night, and which, right. proved to be true, but then they saw me holding the pistol, which, if you're going to open a door under circumstances, these people say, well, I've got a gun in the next room, whatever. No, it doesn't count. If the moment you open that door and someone is there to do harm, or not what you have, as I've told my children, it's not what you have, it's what people may think you have. Whatever. I just don't want to be one of those, and especially elderly, just a victim with this. So then, to elaborate on the story, basically to show you how this is being done all over the country. So I'm looking down at my left side. After that, I didn't know, what else to say other than I'm looking down and making sure that gun barrel and everything. And all I see is the open end of the barrel, that gun sticking up, up beside me. And I hear a voice screaming, assault on an officer, which seemed very unusual to me as to why this was being done or over what. And I look up, and this guy is within, and he testified to, he was within 1.5 feet of me. So now he's closed the distance. Why? To make things safer for him? I didn't know, to do what he was going to do, which is he then pulled out his gun. It was within 6 inches of my face, yelling, drop the gun, a-hole. At which point he grabbed me. He had to have stomped down on my foot because it still hurt. It's still numb. It's the tendons and stuff in there are torn or whatever, and threw me out of my house. They did ask me, they said, why don't you put down the gun, drop the gun, and I said, I don't think I will. In those words and in that voice, because one, I don't drop guns. Two, to sit there, now how do I move to where they don't look at this as a threat? I wasn't going to do anything. It was all up to them, and they did what they did to me. And then, because they criminally assaulted me, criminally battered me, have falsely accused me, have falsely arrested me, and falsely imprisoned me. And the situation like the Sandra Blaine deal, this officer where the gal over a turn signal, he opens the door, he's wrestling with her in the car to get out. Now, obviously he wasn't in fear of his life because he didn't care. She could have picked up a nail file and stuck it in his throat. What if she'd have turned her right, put a gun right to his head and pulled the trigger? He didn't care. He had some little girl that he could beat up on, and he was going to escalate this thing until he had her in jail or whatever like that, which they did. I just want to remind people, all those stops, maybe for weaving in your lane or unsafe lane change.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
We've been patiently waiting while you tried to ignore us, waiting while you acted like we didn't exist, waiting for our chance to be taken seriously. The wait is over. GCN is available 24/7 at GCNlive.com. Navigate through news from your favorite hosts and download archives of past shows. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet or visit GCNlive.com for instant access and live streaming. GCNlive.com, the future of talk radio, now at your fingertips.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
We call it the crapper, water closet, outhouse, or bathroom. But where do you go when there's nowhere to go? The answer is the Biffy Bag. The Biffy Bag is a pocket-sized disposable toilet that fits in your glove box, tackle box, toolbox, backpack, or purse. The Biffy Bag has everything you need for a sanitary and comfortable relief experience. It's ready to use in just seconds, and just toss it in the trash when you're done. It's your Biffy in a jiffy. BiffyBag.com. BiffyBag.com.
Would you like to use your IRA funds to buy precious metals and hold them at home? Are you wary of the stock market, paper gold, or faraway depositories? With a checkbook IRA, you may legally take custody of IRA-owned gold and silver. Visit checkbookira.com and learn how IRA owners in all 50 states have already taken control. checkbookira.com. checkbookira.com.
Oh, jeez. Everyone all set? Cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. This hour, Sam Bushman joins us. Sam Bushman is a broadcaster of many, many, many years. And Sam Bushman has a network, Liberty News Radio. And this broadcast is carried by Liberty News Radio in the evenings. And Sam and I are friends, and we've spent time at each other's houses. And Sam's children asked before I went to his house in Utah, "What's Vincent like?" And Sam, what did you tell him?
Well, I told him he's a great guy. He's a farmer and everything. And they said, well, we've heard him on the radio, and he sounds like an old grandpa. And I said, no, listen, wait a minute. That's not exactly right. He's old enough to be a grandpa, but he's actually young. He gets out and bales hay every day and runs around on his farm and works with his cows and does all kind of things for it. And the next thing you got to know about Vincent, he's incredibly technical. He works on all kinds of projects relating to prepper stuff, and he's a very technical guy. And anyway, then they met Vincent, and they said he is a grandpa. And that's just some of my younger kids.
Yeah. And I got such a charge out of that because it never occurred to me that I was old enough to be grandfather. But I don't know. I was really amused by that. So Sam, I
did respond and say he is wise like your grandpa, though. With the years that you live, hopefully comes wisdom, right?
Hey, Sam, I got a real chuckle out of our last conversation last night. It was, hey man, I got thrown out of the mayor's office. What was that all about?
Man, I got thrown out of I got all kinds of abuse happened to me yesterday at the hands of government, Vincent. It was out of control. And I'm a nice guy. You know me. I mean, I can get feisty if I need to. That's right. But I'm also a mellow person, though.
I have not seen you angry. I've heard your words, of course. They're deliberate, they're accurate, they're succinct. But I haven't seen you yell and scream or, lose your cool. I've never seen that, Sam.
And I don't get belligerent. You've also seen me in some pretty charged situations too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and I'm pretty deliberate, and I keep my cool. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I remember I was at a friend's house and their laundry room caught on fire, and my friend's like, run and tell my mom that the laundry's on fire. We were like 10 years old or something. And I went in there and I said, Mrs. P, your house is on fire. And she said, what? And I said, your house is on fire. You need to come right now. And she went, what? And she freaked and she went, and then she was surprised at how calm I was. And I don't freak out about situations. I usually think very strategically, even in difficult situations, and make wise decisions. Anyway, the reason I tell you that is because it sets up the stage for this discussion. There's a little town near where I live. My co-host, Kurt Crosby, it's where he lives, called Cedar Hills, Utah. And in Cedar Hills, Utah, we've had a long-running saga of what I would call hostility between the citizenry and their government officials. It's a small town of about 10,000 people, maybe 2,000, 2,500 households, something like that. And they've had battles back and forth over a variety of discussions. The citizens feel like, hey, they're not open, honest, and transparent. The government feels like the citizens are just out of control, which is a typical dynamic of what's going on in America, all over the country, by the way. And that's the reason we tell this story, ladies and gentlemen, because this is happening everywhere. The citizenry feels like the government believes they're above everybody and they do what they want, and the government believes the citizens are just out of control, go back to doing what you're doing. And the battle rages, and this battle has been going on in this town for a long time. And there's battles relating to honesty, there's battles relating to transparency and releasing of documents. Well, anyway, the former mayor, he went to jail, because he had some federal charges that came down on his head that had nothing to do with the city. Nevertheless, it's the same kind of people in corrupt positions. And now they got a current mayor who defended the guy that went to jail, and now who's kind of, backed by the guy that went to jail. And it's this crazy relationship of people. Anyway, to make a long story short, we believe there's vote fraud going on in this little place. Because last election cycle, we believe they played a lot of games, and some friends of ours who wanted to be elected didn't get elected, but we believe there was all kinds of weird shenanigans that took place. And one of them is, an example is this issue where they wouldn't let them be poll watchers. They said they had to go over here on the side and they could listen to the counts of the polls, but they couldn't watch. So now you got poll listeners, I guess, right, Vincent?
I tell you, I've never heard of this, Sam.
I'm telling you, it's what happened. And there's affidavits from the people that were trying to watch the polls to this effect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of just typifies the kind of, I would call corruption, but kind of the battle that's going on in the city. Now the attorney got let go. I called him a hired gun, got let go. Now they've replaced it with another attorney. So they're gaining ground as the American people are involved in this discussion. Well, anyway, now this election cycle's happening, and we're trying to make sure that the same voting shenanigans don't happen this go-round that happened last go-round. And so we're talking to different people. Well, anyway, the current mayor is inviting all the candidates to come in and sit down with him and have a talk. And I'm very uncomfortable with a current elected official wanting to have private conversations with candidates. Because you kind of wonder what happens in those private conversations, and you wonder, as the mayor, can he exhibit some maybe building of loyalty and I'll kind of support you? Or not if you're not going to go along? Or what happens there, Vincent? And so that's what brought up our concern. Are you comfortable with the mayor saying, I want to talk to every candidate in private?
Absolutely.
And inviting them in and talking to them?
Nope.
All right, well, it gets worse.
Now, off the record, there's no way you can stop that.
Agreed, there's no way you can stop it, but you can bring up concerns.
Right, but you're talking about in an official capacity in the mayor's office, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, sure, if they met and said, hey, I got a couple of people with me, and you got a couple of people with you, and we're going to meet at a restaurant and eat some French fries and have a Frosty or whatever, have a shake and just talk, okay, I get that. That's not a problem.
Right.
But I'm talking about your official capacity in the mayor's office. It's almost like candidates come in, and I'll make sure you're a player, and if you're not, I'll be against you. It's not said, but that's kind of the inference, and it's uncomfortable. Well, it gets worse because then one time a candidate did go in there, and next thing you know, the mayor had a couple of city council members come in and sit in there too. And the candidate brought this up and said, I'm uncomfortable with this. What's this? You guys are kind of ganging up on me. I'm here by myself because you told me to come. But now, and the mayor's like, oh, well, these people were just walking by and just at the spur of the moment, I just thought they'd have them join us. Well, now we're getting multiple government officials in a room with an individual candidate, and at some point it borders on this intimidation. Maybe legally you can't do anything about it, but ethically and morally it's a serious concern, and it just adds fuel to this fire between the public and the government officials here. Well, so then what we decided to do is play a little game with the mayor. That is this. A friend of ours, a candidate, it's actually Kurt Crosby in this case, the mayor wanted to talk to him, so my friend, Kurt, said, sure, I'll come in. Well, surprise, surprise, there was two of us that went in with Kurt at the same time, and we just showed up. So now we're a little bit doing to him what he did to the other candidate. We're just, hey, we were walking by, right?
Right.
And so now Kurt Crosby shows up, and now he's not very happy because he wanted a discussion alone, but he ended up not having a discussion alone at all. And so he got kind of mad right when we walked in because of that. But I submit to you, that's what he did to others. I don't see why he has a problem with it. We're just, meet the candidates kind of thing, right? So we start talking, and we just basically say, hey, what did you want to talk to Kurt about? He says, well, I want to talk to you about the current elections. As you know, things have changed in the current elections. We're now doing mail ballots only. You got to vote by mail now. And I wanted to let you know about this, Kurt, so that you can run your campaign accordingly and da-da-da-da-da. Are you comfortable with the way this is going so far, Vincent?
Absolutely not. Since when has this happened?
Well, it just happened.
Since when can't you vote in person? Since when can't you vote in person and have an absentee ballot by mail?
That's exactly the point. And so they've moved to only mail ballots now. And their claim is that it increases voter participation. And so he said, look, this gives people more time to vote, I said, let me get this straight because I'm not very smart. If you could vote on a given day, but you have to mail your ballot in earlier than that day so it arrives on time, right? Don't you actually have less time?
Well, not only that, are we using postcards now?
Well, not yet. But they are to the point where the only way to vote is via mail ballots. So we started talking about that with him, and he got kind of mad, and then he looks over at my friend, not Kurt this time. He says, are you recording this conversation? My friend said, yes. The mayor says, discussion over. We're done? How dare you? We're not having this discussion anymore. This is over. He stands up. He opens the door. He gets his keys in his hand, and he turns off the lights, and he says, we're leaving. We're done. We're not going to have this interview anymore. It's finished. And I said to the mayor, I said, you know what, sir, I'm not recording. Kurt's not recording. We did not know in advance that this other gentleman would be recording. And so you can't, I don't think the conversation would be over. Now, if you're not comfortable with this guy recording, you guys can work that out between you. But it has nothing to do with Kurt Crosby coming to you. It has nothing to do with me and my questions about this election situation. Well, the mayor basically wouldn't take no for an answer, and he eventually kicked us out of his office. Now, he couldn't physically remove me, but like I told you at the start, I'm a mellow guy. And I just basically said, well, listen, I'm willing to leave, but I need you to answer a couple of questions first. And the questions are this: when do you have a public forum that I can come and talk to you at a different time? And it turns out 8 to 10 a.m. in his office on Thursdays, I can come back. I said, you know what, I'll be back to discuss this then. It's your office. I'm not going to try to stay here. if you don't want me here. I'm just telling you that we need to have this discussion, and you may not like being recorded, but legally there's nothing, you can't stop this guy from recording. So we
Sam
leave his
Bushman's with
office,
us.
and the story continues.
Yeah, let's continue the story when we come back after these few short commercial announcements. Sam Bushman, Vin Finelli, USAPrepares.com. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original hidden holster.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
All right, so suddenly Walmart, eBay, Amazon, everybody wants to ban the rebel flag. Well, the rebel flag is an important part of American history. The rebel flag is still a long-standing symbol of Southern pride and Southern heritage. So if the big retailers want to play into political correctness and try to deny the history of America, let them. Go to ourflags.com. That's R like rebel, R, the letter R, ourflags.com. Get your rebel flag before they actually do outlaw the things, huh? Ourflags.com. That's ourflags.com. Go now.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
Class, if you want to hear more about Sam Bushman, if you want to go to his website, there's a link on page 1 at usaprepares.com. It says, Sam Bushman, USA Prepares Instructor, Liberty News Radio schedule, and listen links. So it's all right there. The lineup is there. The broadcasters are there. The schedule's there. And you can listen live to Sam Bushman, or you can listen to past broadcasts. Sam, you were talking about your adventures with the mayor of Cedar Hills, Utah. And you know, Sam, this kind of stuff is happening all over. You heard the story about our expo in Lebanon, Missouri, and how the cops came and how they feel they have a right to show up wherever the heck they feel like it because they've got a badge, a gun, a taser, a baton, pepper spray, mace, handcuffs, body armor, you know.
Not to mention they got rocket launchers, dude. So you better sit down and shut up.
Well, you're talking about a guy we know, right?
Yeah, a guy that I considered a friend and thought a lot of, and I'm sorely disappointed is all I can respond with.
And who are you talking about?
Joey Kyle.
Yeah. Sure, Joey Kyle.
I think of him as a nice guy. I liked him. He did a lot of good for the CSPOA, but there's a problem, Vincent. And the problem runs so deep you don't even know who's who, right?
Yeah, what we're talking about, class, if you want to read about it.
I'm not going to back away from that. I defended him, and I'm also disappointed now. And I got egg on my face over it's the problem.
Class, if you want to read about this, there's a link at usaprepares.com about Joey Kyle, a former sheriff of Christian County, Missouri. Joey Kyle was the sheriff there, and there was some concern. I invited him to a meetup. He was not a USA Prepares broadcast instructor. He was not on the air with us, but I invited him to the meetup and to tell us why he needed, in his mind, to have a mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicle. I asked him if he had machine guns, and he said yes. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So stored in the county building where the courthouse, they found C4. They found blasting caps in a closet under the courthouse, under the courtroom. They found, and there's some good things that they found too. They found some MREs. They found, some freeze-dried food. You know, I think that's great that he took it upon himself to prepare. And it appears that according to the article that, he went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and he learned about, really serious bad things that could happen. And he was trying to prepare in his own way. But it seems that the county had no idea that he was spending all this money buying these things, right? Isn't that what you read, Sam?
Yeah, and the problem with it is I'm not here to throw Joey Kyle to the wolves, but I'm also not here to defend wrongful actions. And that's the problem that we face. You know, I hope Joey can change. I think he's a nice guy. When I spend time with him or whatever, he seems like a nice gentleman and everything. The problem is I just can't defend those actions, and that's really where the rubber meets the road, Vincent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I was, I don't know if, I guess you know this, Sam, that I was asked to be an MC at an event at a restaurant, not Jimmy's Egg and none of the restaurants that we hang out at and meet up at, but in Christian County.
By the way, I want to go to Jimmy's Egg one of these times soon. I love omelets, and I love that kind of stuff. I want to go there.
It's world class. It really is. So we went to this restaurant and I was asked to be the MC and it was a packed house. It was standing room only. Television cameras were there and, people were asking the tough questions. And I refrained from asking questions as best I could so that, the villagers could ask the questions. And it seemed like the people are saying, well, what's this thing all about? I mean, why do we need a weapon of war? And we're talking about the escalation of the police and then militarization of the police. And this thing has a gun turret on the top of it. And it's painted, desert camo. And that's what it was.
And that's why the question about the machine guns, right?
Well, I mean, the whole unit was, painted, desert camo. But we're going to have it repainted in it. We're going to have it logoed and it'll, say sheriff's office and that kind of stuff on it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be the parade soon, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just to get started because the tanks are coming next,
By the way, I want to tell you about this. I also got to tell you the rest of my story about getting kicked out and what happened, and then I got another story about the concerns of vote fraud coming up.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is that the community was against this MRAP until Joey said, I'm going to use it to protect you and keep you safe, and then they thought it was okay. I couldn't believe it. We'll be right back.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Okay, honey, I have to ask, and be honest here. Have you been taking a little blue pill? Because things have been pretty good in the bedroom lately.
No, I swear.
You didn't pick anything up at the Pharmacia last month in Cancun?
No.
Well, something's different.
I have been taking that heart and body extract you bought me.
But that's for your heart and to control your cholesterol.
Well, I read HB extract also promotes healthy prostate function.
I never guessed it would work this well, but
you're glad it did.
Oh, yeah.
Heart and Body Extract is a 100% organic formula that promotes a strong heart, healthy arterial flow, better circulation, improves erectile and prostate gland function, and provides youthful energy, strength, and stamina. Find out more at heartandbodyextract.com. Heart and Body Extract paired with healthy heart choices is a winning combination. Call toll-free to order or for free information. 1-866-295-5305. 1-866-295-5305.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original hidden holster.
Everyone says or does something silly once in a while. Even very smart, very accomplished people. It's part of being human. A quote taken out of context, a legal problem, an unfortunate photograph. Once that embarrassing thing is on the internet, it can spread like a terrible rash because people love to dig up dirt, even when it's not real dirt. Put it to rest. Call for a free expert analysis today from Reputation.com. It only takes 30 seconds. 800-831-0771. Businesses, public figures, and professionals turn to Reputation.com for good reason. We protect your online image by helping make sure that when people search for you or your business, they find the most current, accurate information possible. Reputation.com, because word travels fast. Learn more about what the experts at Reputation.com can do for you. Call for a free analysis today. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
Sam Bushman's with us. LibertyNewsRadio.com. Sam, please tell us the rest of the story.
And pencils and iPads and stuff to take notes and get instructed. I thought you were going to say like tasers and rocket launchers and Humvees.
Well, hey, Sam, I do say, everyone all set, cocked, locked. And I want to be clear about this. I mean, be at the ready all the time. That's what I mean by being cocked and locked. Now,
and be at the ready means be prepared. Learn, gain knowledge,
right.
Do the things that it takes over a long period of time. It doesn't happen overnight, right?
That's right. And Sam, you've been in the studio, you've been at the farmhouse, and you know I do walk around with a 45 in addition to that. But I live in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I literally do. And there's no one that's coming here. Nobody. I mean, if I need help, it's going to come from our family or our friends.
Let me give you an example. Let me just tell you the example because I think it really relates. I was with Vincent in his car, and we were driving to his farm, and his wife was coming the other way on the road that leads directly to his farm. And they stopped, and of course, as husband and wife do, they rolled down their windows and had a little chat, and Vincent's like, hey, she's like, I'm going to do this with the cows, or I can't remember exactly the wording, and Vincent's like, great, do you have your firearm with you? And she's like, yes, I do. And it's a matter of preparedness, and it's a matter of defense, whether it be an animal that you don't expect to show up somewhere, or whatever the case may be, right? It's not a violent thing. It's a defense, a protection thing. Vincent was concerned for his wife's safety and wanted to make sure that she was ready, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And we do things, simple things, like we don't let our cars get down below a half a tank of fuel if we can help it. And that's just so in case we have to go somewhere that is that far away that we're ready to go.
You must not be familiar with the 70s tune running or 80s tune running on empty, are you? Jackson Brown. All right.
So there are a lot of things that we do to stay at the ready. A lot of preparedness things. And Sam, you'll call me and say, hey man, I've been trying to call you. Don't you answer your phone? I'll go, yeah, Sam, I'm really busy. Like, what are you doing? Well, I'm working on the farm and that, it involves a lot of things. I mean, just maintaining the equipment. Sam,
and I was thinking we had to tell Grandpa to look more towards retirement. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. He's going to run for sheriff, ladies and gentlemen. So get ready for that. Coming up soon for 2016 in his spare time. Vincent wants to be sheriff. But anyway, so we went into this mayor's office. The guy got belligerent because he was being recorded. And then we got kicked out virtually hostilely. We got, hey, you got to leave right now. And it was basically he was going to call the cops if we didn't leave. So we finally left. And then here's the interesting thing. The mayor calls Kurt Crosby, my co-host. He says, Kurt, I was really disappointed in you today. I've lost complete respect for you. The reason I have is because you let this guy record without telling me. And Kurt says, I had no idea that he was recording. I never asked him. I never thought about it. I never really cared. But so the debate was, well, are you going to denounce this guy for recording? And the mayor basically said, I want you to send out to the public that you denounce this guy's recording and that you agree with me that it's a problem. And Kurt said, well, send me an email about what you want me to say, and then I'll think about it. And what Kurt's going to do is see what he has to say and then add his own comments to it. Well, I just thought that's very strange. Now the mayor's telling a candidate that you got to denounce a citizen who wants to record. Now, it's illegal to record if one party knows it in a public place. But the debate comes down to, is it a public place or is it the private mayor's office there, Vincent? And the debate raged on a little bit, and so I called the mayor on the phone, and I called him up, and I started to tell him that I was disappointed in him for kicking me out because I didn't do anything wrong. I'm responsible for my own sins and not for Adam's transgression, Vincent. I'm not responsible for you, and I'm only responsible for Sam. And so I kind of tried to explain this to him, and he says, look, stop. Are you going to endorse the recording or not? Do you like being recorded? And I said, well, let me just answer the question several ways, because I know you're going to try to trap me when it comes to whether I like being recorded. If I'm giving a public speech, I love it. In fact, you ought to put it on YouTube, okay? If I'm in private whispering love things to my wife, I don't really want to be recorded, no. However, when I go into a government public office, and that's when he went off and started debating about it was his private office, but I said, I don't really want to be recorded necessarily, although I'm not against it. In fact, I really expect it. So frankly, I didn't worry about recording because I expected that you were recording us. And he's like, that's false. You can't say that. And I said, look, when you go into a government office or anywhere in the public, they got so many cameras on you. You're recorded and photographed and videoed everywhere you go today. And I said, and then he said, well, so since you don't like being recorded too, why don't you denounce this gentleman as well? And I said, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not doing that. He said, if you don't denounce it, then I've lost respect for you, and you're either going to denounce it or be on his side or mine, kind of basically. You either denounce it or not. And you got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And he hung up on me. So not only did I get kicked out of the mayor's office, but then I called him back to try to explain my concerns, and he literally said, you're either for or against me, and hung up on me because I didn't basically go on his side in 5 seconds. Then I went to the police station. Then I went to the city buildings and talked about vote fraud and a variety of other things. And I met with a hostile police guy, too. I made the mistake of calling him a police officer, but don't you know he was a lieutenant, sir? And so, anyway, we had a hostile police officer, too, that I can tell you about, Vincent. But that's the story of the mayor yesterday.
Well, okay, well...
And then they wonder why we don't like him.
Well, it's in concert with what I've been finding. When the cops came to the expo, and I told them that they could not be in uniform after 6 o'clock, but if they're off the clock and out of uniform, they're welcome to join us. And they were so outraged. This was one young thug cop was so outraged that he called the city manager, and the city manager just said, hey, it's our building. We can do whatever we want. And I said, yeah, but I'm the tenant and I'm in charge. And he said, we're in charge. And so then I was on the phone with the manager of the facility who was off on vacation that day. And he said, Vincent, if it were up to me, I'd call 6 more cops just because you don't want the cops there. Just because. So what they're saying is if you don't want the cops, obviously you're doing something wrong and we're going to send more cops. These guys are out of control. So here's the problem. They've taken our money.
Let me add to that this. Part of the reason that Vincent didn't want the cops at his event is because a lot of people are intimidated by the police now. It used to be in the old days, your mommy would say, hey, you got a problem, kid? You need to go to the police. If you see a cop standing on the corner, he'll help you. Nowadays, you say to your kid, unfortunately, look, the cop's just as well likely to consider you a hostile suspect than a victim. And he's very likely to tase you or kill you, so you probably shouldn't go to the cops, okay? Now, that's a sad commentary, but that's really the issue, isn't it, Vincent?
It absolutely positively is, and Bob Eastep is a perfect example. Steve Angle's a perfect example. Mike Parsons is a perfect example. Al Lanuto's another example. I mean, these are our instructors. And then we have Jeffrey Deskovic, who was arrested and convicted of rape and murder and put in maximum security federal prison for a crime he didn't commit for 15 years. He won an award of $46+ million. But, I mean, these guys pile it on and they are inclined to lie. I believe they're taught catchphrases, get out of jail free phrases like, I was in fear of my life. That little old lady, I thought she was going to kill me. When they pull a little old lady over and they say,
I know little old lady was on the ground, tased and couldn't move. And I know she had her arms handcuffed behind her back and stuff like that, but she had a foul mouth.
It's unbelievable. Well, if you want to talk about foul mouths, we need to talk about the cops. The cops have, I can't believe the things that I read that they've said. I mean, the profanity that these guys seem to, maybe it's just what I'm reading that puts every fourth word as profanity. But I mean, can't they use English? Seriously.
Well, and so we've got the big problem. So I went into the police station yesterday because, anyway, there was a hostile event against a friend of mine. He was threatened. And so he wanted to report this. And when he went into the police station, first off, we went in there. They made us go through a metal detector and take everything out of our pockets and all that kind of stuff. After we got that done, we went into this room that I call the fishbowl kind of thing because it's like it's a room. It's got bulletproof glass all around in a circle so they can see you from every angle. And then when you get up there, they talk to you through an intercom. What can I do for you, sir? And so we talked to them and we explained that we're here to file a police report and can we talk to somebody that can give us a little bit of guidance on the law and the statute of limitations and things before we do. And so we waited and eventually they got somebody and they moved us into this next room, which I don't want to call it an interrogation room because there wasn't like torture equipment there necessarily, but it was a little room that was kind of uncomfortable to sit in. In fact, I was with my friend and I said, well, can I come in with him? And they're like, well, there's only 3 chairs in here. So no. And then my friend goes, well, I'll just grab this 4th chair. So we went in anyway. I don't think they liked that. But anyway, 4 chairs was kind of a crowd. And so my friend tries to start to explain why he's there. I'm here that I want to file a police report because I'll be a victim. And and I don't really want to sue anybody or cause any problems, but I'm really wanting to document this because now the people that threaten me are saying that I'm violent, and it's not true. And so I want to kind of put the record straight and document this thing with a report. And this is standard. I talked to Richard Mack last hour on my program. This is standard stuff that happens all the time. Well, anyway, so I'm there just as an innocent bystander, and I'm there if they should wonder about the character, that I'd put my name down as vouching for this person's character, which I'm willing to do because he's a great guy, and I'd do that for Vincent too, by the way. And so I sat there, and so my friend tried to explain, the cop just interrupts him over and over. He says, well, what are you doing here? What do you want? What do you expect? What do you... And my friend just looks right at the cop and he goes, why are you so hostile? The cop's like, I'm not hostile. I just need to know what you're doing here. It's like, are you kidding me? So then the cop finally continues, and there's a male cop there and a female cop. Now, the female cop, for about 2 seconds on her face, was kind of shocked that he was being so hostile, this, quote, lieutenant. And I called him a police officer, and they quickly made sure that I understood his authority, that he was a lieutenant and stuff. But anyway, so what happened is he was hostile. The female cop kind of showed on her face that he was hostile, like she was kind of surprised. But then, of course, she put in her cop face, like a poker face, and instantly that shock was gone. But anyway, so he says, I'm not hostile, and they argued about being hostile for a little bit, and then they finally went on. And so then they made a point about statute of limitations. Then I had a question about that, and so I tried to ask my question. And the hostile cop, the lieutenant, just jumped right on me. He was like, sir, we didn't even have to let you in here. This isn't your issue. I'm not even going to acknowledge your presence. And so I just quietly sat there and didn't say another comment the whole time. Not because I'm intimidated, but because, hey, first off, I'm kind of in this, like, interrogation room thing. And there's two cops, and they're armed to the teeth, and there's just me and my buddy. And, you know, last thing I want is something to go wrong, right? When you're in the mouth or the jaws of the lion, it's not time to start popping off, really. So I just sat there and let him finish. And the bottom line, it was kind of difficult to get the report done. It was kind of hostile. Now, the female police officer was actually really kind and really nice. And so at the end, I went back into this fishbowl thing.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Affordable health insurance was the promise of Obamacare, but for many, the government mandate caused more problems than it solved. And I want to tell you about a truly affordable alternative, Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare bypasses doctor and hospital panels, giving you the freedom to choose. 100% coverage up to $1 million per year per occurrence, includes dental, vision, pharmacy, and holistic care. Call 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993 today.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Usually, the older one gets, the less you are able to absorb amino acids and the less you are able to repair the 100 trillion cells of your body. As a result, you'll have less energy, your tissues will shrink, and you'll become wrinkled. An older person will typically injure more easily and heal more slowly. Not fun. However, if you can consume a protein powder that is easier to absorb, then you may be able to gain back some strength, muscle, and speed of recovery. One World Whey is a highly digestible whey protein powder that may be the perfect answer for you.
My name is Errol. I'm 74 years old. You know, the taste of One World Whey is amazing. I play pickleball, and since taking One World Whey and your trace mineral supplement, I have more energy and recover faster from my working out. I used to take another grass-fed whey protein powder, but now I'm getting much better results using One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldway.com.
Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day, and the home security industry wants you to believe that's your only option. They've got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts. You get stuck writing huge checks month after month with no way out. It's robbery by contract, and it can cost you thousands. But there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts. None. You'll get award-winning 24/7 protection. Security professionals watching over your home, ready to instantly send police to the rescue for just $14.99 per month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Protect your home the smart way. Visit simplysafedefense.com today for an exclusive 10% offer and get a free keychain remote worth $25. Only when you go to simplysafedefense.com. simplysafedefense.com.
Sam Bushman's with us, and Sam is sharing some of his stories about working with the government and the pleasantries involved. Sam, when you were in this interrogation,
sorry to talk over the break, by the way, Vincent. It's hard to hear the music sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, when you were in this interrogation room, did you find that the chairs had arms or no arms?
Man, I can't remember. I think no arms.
Yeah, right. It's by design. These interrogation rooms are designed to make you feel uncomfortable. They literally are. And I wonder if they slice off a little sliver on one side so the chair either leans to the left or right or forward or backward. Seriously, I wonder if they do these kinds of things because they are designed. These rooms are designed to make you feel uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be in this room, right? Did you feel comfortable?
I can't really call it an interrogation room, but I'm just telling you that's how it felt. It was small. It was cramped. You certainly didn't feel like the victim and the cops were on your side reporting something and the cops are going to help you solve it. And so, anyway, after this whole event, I basically went back up to the window and talked to the lady police officer that was actually quite kind. She was nice. She wasn't belligerent. She wasn't on a power trip, but the lieutenant certainly was. And I basically said, I want to just kind of file a verbal complaint here. Number one, I don't appreciate the police officer treating me that way. And she said, well, he probably did because they were kind of an investigation. And when people ask too many questions, it can just derail the investigation. I said, ma'am, stop. Hold on. You're not in an investigation when we're here to file a police report as a victim, and we're here to discuss the statute of limitations and the value of filing a report. Okay, that's not an investigation at all. Secondly, you know what? If you want to play games, I can come back right now, and I can ask you to bring back this lieutenant into the same room you put me in, and I can go through the same things and ask my own questions if I want to. He works for me. Okay, I'm the citizen. He works for me. Lieutenant or not, he works for me. And I said, so do I want to really drag him back in there and do that right this second? No, I don't. However, I get if he made a comment and I made a comment and I asked a question and I started to argue and it was totally derailing things to where he might say, sir, can you just hold off? Let me finish this discussion with your friend here and then I can answer your questions when we get done. Okay, I get that. And I get if they were in the middle of an investigation, that'd be a different discussion. I get that too. But there's no need for this hostility to suggest that he doesn't even have to acknowledge my presence there, to not invite me in the room in the first place, to, okay, this is over the top. And so I said, to this lady, I said, I think he's out of line here, and I think it's inappropriate, and I didn't appreciate it. Now, I could drag him back in there, and have him answer all my questions, by the way, but I won't do it for the sake of, I'm not trying to waste anybody's time here. However, what I might do is, how long is the statute of limitations? I might right before that come back and file a formal complaint, but right now I won't. And I left on that note, and I want them to understand that point that, look, there's no need for this hostility. My friend was the victim. I was there to vouch for his character, is why I was there if needed. We were there to try to understand the law and get some guidance from the servants of the people, the police officers there. And we were there to file a report to put it on the record. And we met nothing but hostility from this lieutenant, and I was quite offended, Vincent, and I did not appreciate it.
Well, it sounds like you were in Lebanon, Missouri, or you were in Sparta, Missouri. To me, it really sounds like that.
Well, it seems to be anywhere in the country now.
That's exactly the point, Sam. What we're finding is these guys have decided, in my opinion, that they are not the same as the rest of us. Actually, they are better than we are in their opinion, and they are going to treat us as such. They believe we work for them because, well, in fact, they can murder us with impunity, and they can get their buddies to all lie. And it seems like over and over we're hearing stories about cops planting evidence. Back 20 years ago, you'd say, no, it can't be. No, cops don't plan evidence. Well, we're finding out that they do. I mean, you look at Waco, they murdered a whole bunch of people. The government murdered a whole bunch of people.
The interesting thing is this. What am I going to say to my children about the police if my children deal with this lieutenant? I don't feel comfortable bringing them to this lieutenant by any stretch of the imagination, victim or not.
Hey, when I leave the house, I say to my mom, she goes, yeah, I know. Don't let the cops in. You met my mom. She's in her 90s. She knows. Don't let the cops in the house. That's our parting words for everyone today. Don't let the cops in, because it won't get better. It's gonna get worse. Sam, what do you think?
Sad to say, but it seems to be true in more cases than not.
Sam, my friend, thank you so much for spending today with us. Have a wonderful weekend. Class, above all...
Same to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Meet up Monday. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
We are a survival company. We manufacture our own line of Level 3 and Level 3A body armor. We proudly make our armor 100% in America. We have the best prices in the nation, about $125 cheaper than our nearest competitor. All lab certified, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Psalm 31:3. We are Fortress Survival LLC.com.
Affordable health insurance was the promise of Obamacare, but for many, the government mandate caused more problems than it solved. And I want to tell you about a truly affordable alternative, Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare bypasses doctor and hospital panels, giving you the freedom to choose. 100% coverage up to $1 million per year per occurrence, includes dental, vision, pharmacy, and holistic care. Call 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993. 1-800-714-6993 today.